Welcome to Jackrabbit Journal. It is Summit League tournament time for the SDSU basketball teams. Both play this Saturday in the first round of the tournament, and we'll start with the men. They are the number one seed. Here is head coach Scott Nagy on going 12-4 in the regular season, the loss at South Dakota in the final game of the regular season, and the Jacks' first round tournament matchup against Western Illinois. All right, Coach, before we get to the game against USD, start with this. The regular season in the Summit League, you start 0-2, end up 12-4. Took a while to get the pieces to come together, but I would say congratulations. That's a good accomplishment. Now, your thoughts on the regular season?
Well, I mean, we're the number one seed, and I think that, you know, if you're just looking at it in whole, it feels pretty good. I mean, obviously the start was terrible, the end was terrible, and everything in between was pretty good. And you know, so if we could just compartmentalize it, we feel pretty good about it. I think, you know, the ending was certainly not the way we wanted it to be, and so I think that makes it a little more difficult. But, you know, in my opinion, you know, humility is a good thing, and sometimes when you get humbled, it can be very good for you. It just depends on how you take it, and you know, you can either fight it or you can accept it. And you know, for us, I mean, and we know how the league is. It's just it's a very good league, and it's pretty even, and we know that anybody can beat us. And sometimes I think, you know, you get to thinking a little bit more about yourself than you should, and so humility can bring you back down to earth, and it can make you focus.
Handling prosperity, like you've been saying, even during that long winning streak, that's a hard thing to do, isn't it? And you lose the last game of the regular season, but you were consistent for a lot of the regular season, right?
I think that we were. You know, the one concern I have is just defensively, particularly on the road. Over the past couple of weeks, we've not been very good, and you know, it's what's gotten us to where we are is our defense, and certainly we want to be getting better at the end of the year. And I feel like we're moving in the wrong direction. So we have a week to get that worked out and get better defensively and get our focus back, because when we're good defensively, we're good offensively.
At USD, it was good for the first 5 or 10 minutes, and then what went sideways? What happened there?
You know, they just wanted the game. Yeah, to me, it almost always comes down to motivation over X's and O's, and comes down to toughness and desire. And I think that with us wrapping up the number one seed, is much as I tried to communicate the importance of the USD game and not really wanting to share a title and any of those things, I think that you know, we took a deep breath, and when you take a deep breath, you get your tail handed to you. And you know, the game meant more to USD, and so they played harder. They were better defensively. They were better offensively, and it's pretty tough to win games when you're losing both of those battles.
All right. There hasn't been a lot of games where all of your guys, Reed and DeAndre and George, were not shooting the ball well. This was one of them, wasn't it?
It was. I mean, Cody was tremendous. Let's face it. He played great, and I was proud of him, particularly coming off of last year's game there, where it was probably the worst game of the year for him at USD, and this was one of the best games of the year for him, if not the best. He was really good. We just weren't very good around him, and you know, that hasn't happened very often. But I mean, these kids are human, and they're wonderful kids, and they've gotten us to 12-4, and they've played their tails off for us. So I'm really proud of them. And so we're not just going to take one game and throw everything out. Right. But certainly we need to let it refocus us, and we need to go into the Summit League tournament with a little bit of a chip on our shoulder. I feel, you know, just playing a little bit angry and guarding angrily, because defensively we just weren't very sharp.
Western Illinois in the first round, just thoughts on that one coming up? You played them tight there. Here late in the regular season, Covington's very good. What do you think?
You know, they're playing smaller and faster. Covington was tremendous against us, and he was at the end of the year. He played very well here at the end of the year, and you know, he struggled. I think his percentages were low going into our game, and now they've been very high, and he's really starting to play well. So obviously we have to do a good job on him. But you know, they're going to spread you out and drive you, and you know, they're going to play fast. I mean, it's what we struggled with, and we did at their place. We did not guard them very well, and we were very fortunate to be good offensively at their place, or we would have gotten our tails handed to us there too.
All right. Is it good to have a week here to get ready, or would you rather play this game Tuesday and get it going?
Here we played one game in, you know, like 14 days, and I don't like that. And so you know, there are some things I'll change this week that will be different than what we did last week, and it will be, you know, it'll be a less enjoyable week for the players. But if they take it right, then they'll understand why. But you know, it's going to be, we're going to get after them this week.
Well, up next on the Journal, we fire a few questions at Jackrabbit freshman Ian Thiesen. He's a shrimp lover who will also answer if you call him Ethan Thiesen.
Jackrabbit Journal on Midco Sports Network is presented by Billionato.com.
Jackrabbit freshman center Ian Thiesen has emerged as a sturdy backup to Cody Larson this year. He's another Minnesota kid who has found a home now at SDSU, and he is in this week's Rapid Fire interview with David Brown.
How many times or ways has your last name been mispronounced, and do you just get tired of correcting people?
It's got to be at least thousands by now. It was actually funny because my high school coach had the same last name as me. And during games, they would pronounce his name like Tim Tyson, and all of a sudden I come into the game, it's like Ian Thiesen back in the game. And I just it's spelled the exact same way, but somehow they just mispronounce it. I mean, Oral Roberts got both names wrong, which was actually kind of embarrassing for me.
Would they call you Ian?
Ethan Thiesen. I was like, wow, couldn't even get one right.
Do you correct people, or do you just let it go?
I used to at the beginning, but then it just happened so often I just got tired with it. So teachers say, Ian Thiesen, I'm like, here, I don't even bother correcting them now.
You're from Osseo, Minnesota, just a little northwest of the Twin Cities. What's your favorite part of the Twin Cities?
Favorite part of the Twin Cities would be uptown, Twin Cities area. Just beautiful area, nice day. Just a really nice day to walk around sometimes.
What was your favorite high school basketball moment in Osseo?
Sophomore year, state championship game. I made the game-winning shot in the state, so I'd say it's really hard to top that.
What was the play like? Did you know it was coming to you?
Absolutely not. They came out in a zone, and we were just kind of taken back from it, and our point guard just dribbled down the lane and just got me just one of the most wide-open shots I think I've ever gotten in my life. Just a little 15-footer, and I knocked it down. Really bad defense. Really bad defense.
But I'm sure you were thankful for that.
I was really thankful for that. I was like, wow, state championship game, and I'm this wide open. Can't get any easier than that.
Why are you number 42?
I'm 42 because originally I told Krabinoff that if I come here, will I get the number 45? And he said yes. And he said, okay, then I'll come here. And then all of a sudden I get here and I'm not 45. So the closest number they had was 42. So that's what I rolled with.
They just don't make a 45 jersey?
I guess not.
Were you disappointed?
I was a little disappointed, yes, because that's the last thing I said to him before I committed, and he said he would do that for me. So I guess that wasn't happening.
So the lies have started.
Yep.
I'm just kidding. All right, who's the smelliest teammate?
Keaton Moffitt. Mm-hmm.
And is that only because he said you were the smelliest?
Yes. But he's smelly. He's smelly.
What is the best practical joke you have played on someone or that someone has played on you?
Ooh. Practical joke. Wow. Yeah, I don't know actually. Well, George Marshall, beginning of the year, would just kind of like a freshman thing, would always take my ball during practice and warming up before practice. So there'll be days where we'll just run around the gym because I'm chasing him to get my ball back for 5 minutes. So I guess that's about it.
Does he pick on you a lot?
Not anymore. He used to though, but I think we're past that.
You got 8 inches on him.
Yeah, I got 8 inches, but he's a junior, so to me it's kind of funny, but I guess I just gotta deal with it.
What's the best nickname you've ever had?
Big Cat, and I just got that this year.
And why are you Big Cat?
Coach Sargent just came up to me one practice, said, I got nicknames for you. It's either Big Cat or Big Sizzle. You pick one. I just said, okay, I'll be Big Cat. And it just stuck really, really well. Now everybody around campus even calls me that.
What's your favorite food?
Food, I gotta go with shrimp, I would say.
Is it a Forrest Gump thing? Is it lemon shrimp, fried shrimp?
Just regular cold shrimp. Just put some water underneath it, let it unfrozen, and I'll eat that all day. I don't know why, but I just like some shrimp.
All right, what's up with your different hairstyles? You were buzzed, and then you sort of grew it out. Now you got this Pat Riley thing going.
I just always kind of wanted to do it, and my favorite TV show is Sons of Anarchy, and all the characters kind of had the slip back hair look to it, and I just kind of wanted to try it out. And, I mean, I've been playing well with it on, so of course I'm not going to change it now. So I think I'm just going to roll with it till the season's over.
So when's the last time you had a haircut?
September maybe. It's been a while. Beginning of the season.
All right, and then the last one, who would win a horse contest between you and your teammates?
Probably Zach Horseman, because he's kind of got that grandpa old-style game where he can just do a bunch of trick shots. And he's been around the longest, so he's probably had a lot more practice than I have with that kind of stuff.
Grandpa style? Do you call him Grandpa? Or just...
Yeah, we call him Gramps in the locker room. We call him and Cody Grandpa.
All right, Ian Thiesen, thanks for playing.
Thank you.
And thanks to the big cat, Ian Thiesen. Well, up next, the Jackrabbit women. They have won 5 games in a row heading into the Summit League tournament. Aaron Johnston says this team doesn't have the best record ever, but it is one of his best teams ever.
Jackrabbit Journal on Midco Sports Network is presented by Billionato.com.
Well, the SDSU women have some swagger going into the Summit League tournament. They have overcome a lot of injuries this season and have won 9 of their last 10 games. But are they as good as some of those really good teams the Jacks have had in the last 5 years or so? AJ thinks so. Here is the coach as they get ready to face Denver in the first round of the tournament. All right, Coach, 5 in a row now after a couple wins this weekend. It looks like on paper you guys are playing very well here coming down the stretch, are you?
Yeah, we are. You just never know what the next game's going to bring, though. I mean, in this world, we're as good as what we did, yesterday, pretty much. But you're right, we have played very well, and I think for us, the big difference has been we've been excellent defensively. This is as good as we've played defensively here all year. I think had we played better defensively throughout the year, we'd probably even be a little further along in our record and in some of our victories. But, we're young. We've had a lot of injuries, a lot of different things go on, so it's just taken us longer to get to a level on the defensive end that we should feel really good with. And real pleased with where we're at, and it's been fun to see the team play that hard.
All right, as you said, you hold Western Illinois to 49 points. Talk about this game. Ashley Luke gets hers a little bit, but that's good defensive performance there.
Yeah, it is. Anytime you hold a team that low or that off their norm, because they're one of the best offensive teams in our league, it has a little bit to do with them just probably missing some shots, But also I think your defense does create some of the flow to the game, the type of shots the other team gets. Even Ashley didn't get a ton of really easy shots at the rim. She had to work pretty hard. She had 1 or 2, sometimes 3 people around her, and she had to try and score in that way. And then people forget or sometimes don't think of us, but we're a really long team, probably as long as we've ever been. We're starting 6 foot, 6 foot, 6'2", 6 foot, 6'1". I mean, that's a group of players that can cover a lot of ground inside and on the perimeter. So when we're out challenging threes, we're doing it with sometimes guards who are maybe 4 or 5 inches taller than the people they're guarding, and that I think changes things for shooters.
All right, and then you follow it up with giving up 53 to IUPUI. I mean, this looked like a very complete game as well on Saturday.
Yeah, it was. Our defense on Saturday was really disruptive, forced a lot of turnovers. I think their first 5 or 6 possessions were all turnovers, so never really got themselves a good look to start off with. We were efficient on offense in the first few minutes. I think we jumped out to 15-2, some kind of lead, and we really never looked back. It was just a very complete game. We rebounded well. IUPUI is one of the better defensive teams in the league, too, and I thought we got the shots we wanted there. And just never let them get a big run to get themselves back in the game. So it was a very good win on senior day for us.
And that gets us into Denver in the first round of the tournament. Describe what they're going to try to do against you guys.
Penetrate and shoot the three, things that our defense has been up and down with. And then we played them early in January. It was just completely one side of the fair here. And then we go out to Denver. We didn't have Megan Matashik, didn't have China. Neither of those excuses are good enough for not playing well. But they just shot the ball well. They made big shots when they had to. Second half, I think we were up by 5. Then they go on a 16-0 run. We never got back into it. And that's, again, where our defense, I think, let us down. So we'll have to guard penetration, guard ball screens, and then just not let them get going on the three-point line.
All right. You talk about Megan Matashik. That IUPUI game, 21 points, 8 of 8 at the free throw line, just did everything well. She's probably not going to get Player of the Year, but she should be in the conversation, shouldn't she?
I think so. I mean, I think in my mind, Players of the Year do more than scoring. And I think sometimes in our league we get a little bit too infatuated. People just take a ton of shots. We have some volume shooters in our league that put up a lot of numbers, but they don't necessarily make everybody else around them better. They don't do all the other things offensively and defensively that great players do. And we have a few players in the league that do that, but not many. And Megan is one of those very few that does everything well. Offensive rebounds, makes free throws, passes the ball, defensive rebounds, defends. I mean, she does everything. And that, to me, is what a Player of the Year is, and that's why I think Megan should be one of those players. But the numbers in our league sometimes just get, I just think, too much attention. Scorers seem to generate a lot of interest in our league.
China Stevens, What's her status as we get going into the tournament? We're still a week away, but
Yeah.
what do you think?
Well, she's done some shooting now. Finally, she's moving around. She's not in the boots. She's active. She hasn't practiced or anything as of this weekend. We're hoping to work her back in. I'd be disappointed if she can't play this weekend in Sioux Falls. I know she'd be disappointed too. I just don't see it being a 25, 30-minute a game role right away. I mean, you just can't jump into it. Plus, we're playing really well right now. But I think she's going to be available. I think we'd all be disappointed, probably a little bit surprised if she's not able to play good minutes for us and add to what we've been doing.
But like you said, it could be disruptive. It can, right?
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that to make sure she knows it's not a reflection of her. But we've got people that are playing really well right now. And she's got this week to prove that she can build on that or not. So she's got some pressure on her to get healthy but also fit back into what we're doing.
All right, and you get a week here, and we talked to Scott about this. Do you like having the week before you play again now, before the tournament, or not?
Yeah, I love practice, and I know every coach is going to say that. I love it because I think it helps make us better. It's no different than going to class. You go to class, you pay attention, you're going to be better at that subject than when you first got there. And I think basketball is the same way. We won't go long, we won't drill them into the ground, but we'll try and really clean up some areas that maybe we haven't spent a lot of time on. You're trying to prepare for almost everything you might see. I think it's a fun week to really kind of get a laser focus about our team. I think our team will respond well to it.
All right, last thing. People look at 12-4 in the league, and it's not one loss or two loss like you guys have had and spoiled everybody with. But this is still a pretty good 12-4 regular season in the Summit League, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, we've been we're really good. When we've played great basketball, we're excellent, and I think most people who look at it in an unbiased way would agree with that. But we've also been inconsistent, and I think we have to own that, and that there are things that we haven't been as good as we need to, and defense has been a big part of it, and that's why we are 12-4 and maybe not a few wins more. And I think our team has started to recognize that here late, and hopefully they keep that motivation going.
Well, up next, the latest in a long line of great post players for the Jackrabbit women, Mariah Clarin getting it done in her senior season.
Jackrabbit Journal on Midco Sports Network is presented by Billionato.com.
Welcome back. Mariah Clarin is a 6'1" senior center this year for the Jackrabbits. She is an avid horse rider when she's back home in Princeton, Minnesota. The Jacks have kind of jumped on her back at times this year, and she has carried them. And as David Brown reports, she is playing her best basketball here at the end of her college career.
Rebounding has never been about the glitz or the glamour, but it's where Jackrabbit Mariah Clarin shines the brightest.
Rebounding's always been something that I really enjoy doing. And I think that's the biggest part of it. It's just I have that drive to go get the boards. That is my job. And, defense and rebounding, those are the two jobs that I really need to focus on.
The 6-foot senior averaged 7 rebounds a game this season, including more than 2 per game on the offensive end. Clarin's philosophy on cleaning up the glass remains the same, but she admits there's a certain kind of rebound she loves most of all.
Offensive boards are kind of like the cherry on top of your ice cream. They, get people excited and, they add an extra possession for the team. So I would say rebounding is rebounding, but offensive boards are definitely more fun.
Really one of the best rebounders in the league on both ends, offensive and defensive. And she's found a good rhythm offensively. She's making free throws, she's scoring around the basket. Mariah's been a big part of our success on offense and defense this year.
That offensive success seems to be a byproduct of Clarin's rebounding. In addition to her 7 rebounds a game, she's also averaging a career-high 12 points.
Coach talked to me about just being a solid player and being consistent throughout the whole season. So that's kind of what I've tried to do, making sure that I'm rebounding every game, making sure that I'm playing with a lot of effort.
Clarin's determination is a far cry from where she first started as a freshman, a fact that was recently mentioned to her in an unusual way.
I actually had a fan. He came up to me in Hy-Vee and he said, Mariah, I don't know if I should tell you this, but when you were a freshman, I didn't think you were going to make it. And there's some days that you look at that and you think, you don't know if you're going to make it, but you do, and you keep working and you get better. And, now I'm a senior and I'm like, hey, I did it.
Mariah's really hit her stride here senior year. She's still plays a little out of position for us, and that's our deal, not hers. She's a 6-foot center, but she makes up for that with her athleticism, with her strength, and with her effort.
All right, when we come back, a couple of quick, tasty facts on the Jackrabbits' first-round games in the Summit League tournament.
Jackrabbit Journal on Midco Sports Network is presented by Billionato.com.
Well, the Summer League tournament starts this Saturday. The Jackrabbit men are the number 1 seed. They will play Western Illinois in the first round, and the Jacks beat the Leathernecks twice this year. One was close, one was not. SDSU won by 31 at Frost Arena. That was the first win in that 8-game win streak for the Jacks. George Marshall had 17 points. He was really starting to play well at that time. The Jacks held Western Illinois star Garrett Covington to just 11 points in that ball game. Much different story, though, the second time around at Western Illinois just 2 weeks ago. The Jacks still win the game by 2 points, but Covington goes for 31 points in that one. Western shoots at 56%. So do the math. Covington is the key, averaging 21 in the 2 games. And in the season series against Western Illinois, though, the Jackrabbits have dominated. They have won the last 14 in a row. Well, the Jackrabbit women, meanwhile, have won 0 in a row against Denver, their opponent, this Saturday in the first round. Denver beat SDSU 77-72 3 weeks ago in Denver. The Jacks were playing without Megan Watashik, who was out for that one game after a knee injury in the game before that. Macy Miller had a season-high 30 for the Jacks, but Denver went on a hot streak in the second half, got 24 points from Morgan Van Riper-Rose, and that loss came after the Jacks had destroyed Denver in the first game of the Summer League season, beat them by 41 in that game. So a season split with Denver. Anyway, the Jacks and Denver play the second game of the tournament, 2:30 on Saturday, on the same side of the bracket with Oral Roberts and North Dakota State. The Jackrabbit men play the first game of the night session on Saturday, so that is fan-friendly. We've got all the games here on Midco Sports Network, and we will see you at the tournament.